While it may be cold outside, things are getting toasty warm at Global Voice Broadcasting. Heat up your winter nights with the hottest topics, the hottest celebrities, and today's best music. It's why Global Voice Broadcasting is becoming your 24/7 home for the music and talk you want right now. Discover your favorite shows and music anytime at globalvoicebroadcasting.com.
I highly recommend Ms. Hicks. Her books, her CDs are encouraging.
I bought her book, A Hill to Climb. She's a very inspirational speaker.
And I look forward to one day being able to work with her.
Your power lies within you. Let it loose.
Aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, determination. These are the keys of life success brought to you by none other than award-winning author, motivational lecturer, business consultant, and much more as she gets you aimed to your purpose. And now, ladies and gentlemen, young and elder, from Hollywood to the entire world, here is your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Louise Hicks, along with her co-host, yours truly, Kenan Wesley Mason.
Hello, world. How are you today? Welcome. We hope everyone enjoyed your Thanksgiving and your beautiful weekend. I know we did. And we're just going to jump right in here and tell you what we're going to do today. We have Mika the Diva back with us today. I know you missed her.
Hey.
And we also have in our studio our special guest today that we will be introducing a little bit later. And we're going to talk about the power of gratitude. How about that? Gratitude. And that's what we'll be talking about. And we also are going to introduce you to a book today that we want you to explore.
Always doing new stuff here on Aim to Purpose, the radio show.
And that's my son and my co-host, Kenan Wesley Mason. And as you know, I'm Louise Hicks, your host of Aim to Purpose, the radio show. And we hope you are aimed to your purpose. That's what we are all about. As the intro said, aspiration, inspiration, motivation, edification, and determination. So let's jump in and get Mika the Diva here so she can give you that entertainment and community news.
Mika the Diva!
Hello, friends. It is your girl, Mika the Diva, and I have so much to cover today. Entertainment news for Monday, December 1st. Happy December, everyone.
Yeah.
Let me first start by saying I had an amazing Thanksgiving weekend. It was restful and just hanging out with family. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. Great way to end the weekend, though. I got a chance to see Kinky Boots.
Whoa.
Oh, yes. This was the amazing off-Broadway musical and starring starring Kyle Taylor Parker and Stephen Booth. This is the book adapted from the book by Harvey Fierstein and music by Cyndi Lauper.
Wow.
Listen, it happened at Pantages Theater yesterday, and shout out to my favorite Hollywood casting divas, Keisha Richardson and Natasha Ward. We were in the house and we had an amazing time, and when I say that this is just an amazing musical, the music was great, the performances were great, so shout out to Kyle Taylor Parker and Stephen Booth for an amazing performance in Kinky Boots. Okay, so we've got some box office numbers, and we're just going to kick it off right now. For the domestic angle, Hunger Games coming in at $121.8 million. You guys,
Is that such a surprise?
I'm not surprised, but I'll tell you, I mean, obviously.
Who's starring in that? That's great.
Oh my God, Jennifer Lawrence. Who else? It's just an amazing cast.
A little bit of everybody.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson. So I know that they're bringing in some new characters for this particular portion of the book. As you know, this is also adapted from a book. So Hunger Games doing really big things. Big Hero 6. That's the animation. I believe it's from Pixar.
Yeah.
And they're coming in at $20.1 million, and Interstellar, $15.3 million. For international numbers, we've got Hunger Games again, $152 million overseas.
Wow.
Interstellar, again in the top 3 with 70 million even, and then Fury, 12.4 million, and they were hanging on from last week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess you guys decided to go check out the movies on Turkey Day, so that's pretty awesome. Listen, upcoming releases this weekend, December 6th, we've got The Pyramid, Ashley Henshaw from The Chronicle, James Buckley, he's an English actor from The In-Betweeners, and Dennis O'Hare from the Dallas Buyers Club. This film is it's covering an archaeological team attempts to unlock the secrets of a lost pyramid, only to find themselves haunted by an insidious creature. This is a horror film, so you guys have heard about it, but
like something I don't know.
Yeah,
sounds like something you don't want to watch.
I know. I'm not into those horror movies.
Yeah, well, they missed the October, Halloween
Yeah,
run.
Halloween's
So that
over
would have
now.
been perfect. But yeah, they're coming out this weekend. So, and then top 5 with Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, Gabrielle Union, Adam Sandler, everybody and their mama is in this movie. And this is about a comedian who tries to make it as a serious actor when his reality TV star fiance talks him into broadcasting their wedding on a TV show. I don't know if you guys have seen the promos for Top 5, but this, again, is the Chris Rock movie.
Right.
And it just seems there's cameos from everybody in Hollywood.
And we haven't seen Chris in a while.
We haven't, so this will be pretty good for him. Nice to see him back on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, listen, we've got some box office biz news for you today, and this is coming out of China. Big major entertainment player these days, people, so listen up. Dalian Wanda chairman, Wang Jianlin, he puts MGM and Lionsgate in the crosshairs. Basically, he's releasing a story to Bloomberg today that he wants to buy Lionsgate.
Oh, wow.
And so what we're seeing right now is that China is coming in as a major player in the entertainment arena they've already kind of cornered the market as it pertains to the video on demand angle.
Right.
But they've been in talks with a lot of Hollywood big heavyweights over here to try to get some purchasing power.
That's interesting
And
news.
so that's going to be really interesting. And just to kind of give you guys a back end story, China has really kind of is a front runner when it comes to the overseas box office numbers. A large part of those numbers
a large part
of the numbers that I just read to you are, from China.
Right.
You've got so many people who are just supporting big business and entertainment. So they're definitely looking to corner the market. And he says, quote, China's movie industry is booming at an unprecedented speed. And buying a well-known U.S. company will help our distribution overseas. So, and they're shifting the group's focus toward culture, entertainment, and e-commerce. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. So
yeah,
stay
that
tuned
will
for
be
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Keep us posted.
Will do. And so let's see, what else we got here? I guess we can shift over to community news. And obviously over the weekend, Twitter's been going crazy. Just social media in general has been going crazy. And obviously a lot of heavy media coverage for the Ferguson, results from the indictment or lack thereof. They decided not to indict Darren Wilson. And so, I know you guys are probably tired of hearing about it, but, it's
I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.
It's not. And actually, Obama just came out of talks today with some of the just a series of meetings of administration just talking about what they can do to, number one, enforce the mandatory cameras on the police officers, and that's at the request of the Mike Brown family, and they're calling it Mike Brown's Law. So again, just trying to see what the administration is going to do about this. So stay tuned, and we'll keep you posted on that as well. Okay, it's World AIDS Day, so make sure you go get tested. And we just wanted to
Did you say World AIDS Day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, World AIDS Day. So obviously just awareness and make sure that you know your status. Very important stuff. And then GOP staffer resigns over criticism of Obama's daughters. I want to get you guys' opinion on this. I think she was out of line.
Well, my opinion is, I mean, these kids are teenagers. I don't even think one is a teenager yet, the youngest one. I don't even think she's a teenager. So this is typical from young kids. And to make a statement like that, particularly about our parents, I don't agree with everything that President Obama does as a president, nor have I with all the other presidents. However, it appears that he has been just assassinated by worse than any president during my lifetime that I have seen. And for this woman who is the director of communications for the Congress to come out criticizing these daughters, I think is just atrocious what she did. And she's out of line as far as I'm concerned. And here she is. Why isn't she communicating with the Congress and talking to them? I mean, if she's the director of communications with our Congress doing what they are doing, it appears to me she's not doing her job. If she still has it, I don't know whether she still has it or not.
Actually, she resigned today, so that was going to be the update on all of that. She resigned.
And I think these girls have been pretty respectable in terms of who they are. They have an intact family that seems to be doing an excellent job of raising their children to be respectable. And I just could not understand why she would go after these kids in that manner and writing a letter to these kids as if they are adults. I read it, and I did make a comment about it on Facebook. I mean, they haven't done anything prior to that the predecessors' children did. These daughters were involved in behaviors that were really not becoming. And these girls here have done
Not only that,
nothing.
Not only that, but these girls are minors as opposed
they're
to
minors.
They're 16 and 13.
right,
So,
as opposed to our previous president, whose daughters were grown adults and were, doing their party and whatnot. Which is, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Right.
But when you have an opinion, keep your opinions with the adults on an adult level instead of bringing it down to talking about the teenagers that can't defend themselves.
Right. I mean, essentially, the question is, when holding a high-profile position, should you keep a low profile? Meaning, you have to watch your words. Meaning, you can't just act crazy. I feel like there's a fine line between your personal life versus with politics, because you can already see they're digging up stuff on her, really things that are irrelevant. But she kind of brought this on herself. So
she did.
Elizabeth Lawton, good luck, honey.
It's the game of politics.
And I think she has a right to say what she wants to say. However, discernment and wisdom come in at some point with all of us. We have to use discretion. We need to use discernment. We need to use wisdom. And in that particular position, I think she did not use discernment or wisdom by her comments with these young girls that are teenagers. And I stand corrected because I didn't realize the younger one was a teenager at this time.
Yeah, 16 and 13. So, well, that's the name of the game, essentially. So, I mean, that is it for the community news. I do have a couple of mentions on events, some family-friendly winter fun if you all are into ice skating. Holiday on Ice is running through January 19th at Pershing Square. You can go to Hollywood Ice Rink downtown L.A. This is like one of the few places in LA that actually has ice, so get excited about that. And then the LA Kings Holiday Ice Run is actually already started, and it's going until December 31st at LA Live. So good, clean, wholesome fun for the family.
Sounds like fun. I used to do that when my daughter was younger. Haven't done it in a long time. She's 25 now.
And also in New York, for our friends on the East Coast, tree lighting ceremony at Rockefeller Center, Wednesday, December 3rd. So that's coming up this week. Live performances. I apologize, I don't have the names of those performing. But it's from 7 to 9 p.m. at Rockefeller Plaza. And you can go to rockefellercenter.com for more information. And then the Hot Chocolate Nutcracker is coming up, and that's starring Debbie Allen and Raven Simone, December 12th through December 14th at UCLA Royce Hall. So I know that was a mouthful, people. I've missed you guys, and as always, follow me at Mika the Diva on Twitter, and also get with us at Aim to Purpose on Twitter as well.
Thank you, Mika the Diva. We love your report, and we are glad to have you back today and hope to see you next week.
Bye, friends.
And with that being said, we are going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back with our special guest.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the power of gratitude.
Gratitude is a good thing, and with that, we will be right back.
Hey folks, it's Ken here. If you or someone you know around the world has a small business, organization, or foundation you'd like to share with the Aim to Purpose audience, showcase it here on our segment of the show called Small Business Monday. The opportunities for people around the world to browse, buy, and use your products and services are endless. We pre-screen all businesses, organizations, and foundations for legitimacy, but because this is a free community service brought to our audience, it's at no cost to you as well. You heard it right. It's absolutely free, and you don't have to pay 1 penny. How do you like that? You just come on down to the studio and tell the story of your business, organization, or foundation and give it the praises and accolades you know it deserves. If you're in another part of the state or country, or if you're in another part of the world, you can easily call in or Skype in and do the same. So what are you waiting for? Contact the show's publicist, Shamika Brown, at www.divinebrownmedia.com. She can also be contacted at 1-818-533-8463. Or contact Louise Hicks at www.louisehicks.biz. She can also be contacted at 1-562-310-1495. Allow yourself to be seen by the global masses and allow your business to shine and grow because of the global masses. It's Small Business Monday, courtesy of Aim to Purpose, the radio show.
Okay, we're back. And thank you all for tuning in today to Aim to Purpose, the radio show. We are so happy that you took time out to share in our show today, and we're ready to introduce our special guest today. And we're going to talk about the power of gratitude with our special guest, Ivory Cooper Sr. So we're going to have Kenan to go ahead and read his bio.
Yes, Ivory L. Cooper Sr. currently resides in Long Beach, California. That's our home. He is an entrepreneur, author of the soon-to-be-published Gratitude 360 5-Minute Secret to a Happier You, award-winning speaker from Toastmaster International, Toastmaster International Youth Mentor, bilingual, and his favorite dessert is ice cream. I like gelato myself. Ivory also holds a BS in kinesiology from California State University of Northridge. In August, he competed in Malaysia as the 2014 Toastmaster International District 1 International Speech Champion. Ivory is a member of Raising the Bar Toastmaster International Club located in Compton, California. He became the first Compton Toastmaster to win the highly competitive District International Speech Competition. So with that being said, we want to introduce to you our featured and special guest for today on Aim to Purpose, the radio show, Mr. Ivory L. Cooper Sr.
Welcome, Ivory. We are so happy to have you here today to tell us all about yourself and your trip to Malaysia. And thank you for bringing back this gift. You thought about us, and we only met you one time, and we really appreciate you bringing back the gift to us.
Yeah, here it is right
here.
We can hold it up to the camera there.
A beautiful keychain all the way from Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And, we had that big bio, kinesiology. What is kinesiology for those of us that might not know?
Well, kinesiology, as I was talking earlier with Ken, is basically the study of human movement through art, dance, and sport.
Oh, wow. Well,
so it's a fancy name for a lot of science, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, Ken would know more about that than I would, since he's into personal training and all of the other things that he does. He would know a lot more than I know about kinesiology, but that's great. That's a good thing to be into. Now, we know that you went to Malaysia because you won the opportunity to speak as a part of the Toastmasters. Tell us a little bit first about what the Toastmasters is. International, I believe.
Yes.
What is Toastmasters, and how did you get involved in Toastmasters?
Well, Toastmasters began 90 years ago, and it was started by a gentleman, and he gave people an opportunity to work on their public speaking and leadership skills. And it's grown to, I think, 130 countries now.
Wow.
Over
Wow.
400,000 members and thousands of clubs, over 14,000 clubs. I got involved because I grew up in Compton, and I wanted to...
And this is Compton, California.
Compton, California, yes. And I wanted to challenge myself, and one of my fears was public speaking. And I said, well, I'm looking for an organization that I can get involved in that has great leadership skills and has a learning environment conducive to the people like me that need a little work. And it was great, and I found a good niche in Compton.
Mm.
That's awesome. So we know I was involved in Toastmasters a few years ago because I wanted to learn how to address issues better, speak better, and like you did. So I had some communication classes,
Yeah.
speaking classes in college and so forth, but I wanted to hone my skills and do better. And Toastmasters is an awesome organization to get involved in if you want to develop your speaking patterns. And if you have the fear of speaking, like what Ivory said, if you have a fear or you just want to get in front of people and just let them know that you have no more fear, go to Toastmasters. I tell you,
Yes.
because they're going to put you to the
Yeah.
test.
Yeah, they'll
Yes, they
start
are.
you off right.
They are going to put you into the test. So that's how you got involved in it. Now, tell us, we know you went to Malaysia. You were selected to go there because of your...
The international, every year they have competitions around the world, and they have what's called a international speech contest. The winner from different regions and districts go on to compete on the world stage to become the world champion of public speaking.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
so
big.
It's a big honor.
The world champion of speaking,
of public speaking.
which
yes.
means you're probably you would be one of the best speakers on earth at that point, or one of the best well-known.
One of the best, yeah.
Yeah.
Take, for instance, in Malaysia, when it starts out, there's 30,000 contestants.
Wow.
And in Malaysia, when I was there, it dwindled down to 91.
Now, where did all these contestants come from?
Everywhere, every nook and cranny of the world.
All over the world?
All over the world.
And you were
From-
one of the
I was
30,000.
one of the 30,000.
And they narrowed it down to...
I
To
was
91. Wow.
Were
Out
you
of
in the
30,000.
91?
Yes, I was one of the 91. So only
Whoa.
91 get to go. Then they break it down to different segments, and we compete to
Wow.
be crowned.
And what do you speak about? How does that work?
Well, you give a 5 to 7 minute speech, and they give you a subject of the speech. In this particular instance, our subject had to be something that was inspirational. And in my particular speech, I talked about pursuing my dreams.
Good topic.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of other people have different topics. You tell your story, you throw a little humor in there, and you stay within those parameters, and you just go for it, and they judge you.
Can you kind of give us a Reader's Digest version of what you spoke about, or would that be part of your story of how you got to Toastmasters? Can you kind of elaborate on
The
how you-
actual speak itself.
well, the actual speech itself, but also what led you to get to Toastmasters in the first place?
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Gratitude was part of it. That was my segue into it.
Right.
That allowed me to expand my world so that I could look deeper in what I have and be thankful for it, and look into the talents that I have to do that.
Right. Wow.
Now, what this gratitude that got you there, and you knew that you wanted to speak better. Tell us a little bit about gratitude itself. What is it, and why is it that? Because we know a lot of times people they're not always grateful for what they have. And we all are seeking something, but what we have, we need to be grateful and give gratitude, and also give gratitude to others for what they're doing for us. So what is gratitude, so to speak?
I define gratitude as the expression of emotions of appreciation for things that you have good in your life past, present, and future.
Wow.
Good definition.
That sums it up.
That's right.
Gratitude, being grateful for, I guess, well, for one, being grateful for just being alive.
Yes.
So you can have the opportunity to have the experience.
Yes.
So you went to Malaysia, and give us some background on, not only the gratitude portion, but some events, that kind of led up. I know we were talking before the show about some of the things that kind of led up to how you got into that. Just tell us a little bit of background.
So what happened was in 2010 was a really challenging year for me, and that's where it all began. I lost my mother in February. All of a sudden, she was 78 years old, and we didn't expect her to go.
Right.
Being from Tyler, from the South, she was just strong.
That's Tyler, Texas,
Tyler,
because
Texas.
we are worldwide.
Yes.
Tyler,
That's right.
Texas.
Tyler, Texas.
Gotta be specific.
Gotta be specific. Put it all in there. Don't miss nothing.
That's right.
And I was sharing with Louise earlier. I said, but she was just a strong Southern woman, and we thought she would just live forever.
Yeah.
And when death hits you close to home, that's when you start really looking at your life. And after you're going through the 5 stages of loss after I lost her in February, around June, I kind of came out of it, was in that last stage of acceptance.
Yeah.
I started to look at what dreams had I shelved, because my mother had made her transition, and she no longer could, what I call, chase her emaciated dreams. Because when you don't feed your dreams, you don't nourish them, they're real. They're in your mind.
Right.
They're real.
Right.
But they're not nourished. So I sat down and I wrote a list. And at the top of the list, it was, I wanted to run a marathon. I always had that on my list. I was a PE teacher using my kinesiology degree. So I said, I want to challenge myself. So I started running 5-7 miles a day, just training every day. I mean, Ken, you would have been proud of me. I was in shape.
There you go.
In November, I had a severe back injury.
Okay.
That squashed all of that. I went into, and that was another loss. And I looked at, because the 2 days after I had that injury, I was not physically able to walk. I had to crawl.
What happened to you?
I herniated my L4 and L5 disc in my back.
Wow.
So severely that it was just...
That'll do it.
Yes.
That
8
will do it.
millimeters was pressing against my spine. And I've been an athlete all my life, so I was like, wow, who am I now?
Right.
It really made me question, who am I? Because and how was my life going to be affected from this point on?
Wow.
And so I went into a depression, and I stayed there for a minute, gained 40 pounds, looked like I was 6 months pregnant. As you mentioned earlier, ice cream was my favorite. Haagen-Dazs.
Leave that ice cream alone.
That is definitely the go-to.
Have you eaten any of that Bluebell in Texas? Bluebell. If you're from Tyler, you may have had some Bluebell. That
Bluebell
will
ice
get
cream.
you.
Yeah.
They don't have it here in California.
They don't.
It's the go-to food for depression. Always ice cream.
Always
and
ice cream.
Haagen-Dazs in particular.
So bad that they knew my first name when I went into.
There you go.
Had you
Baskin
ever
Robbins.
thought about, before your accident, and your mom, that was your mom, right?
Yes.
That was 78 and she died suddenly. And I can imagine, I'm sorry for your loss, that hit you so hard. But did you really think about who you were and your dreams prior to the back injury and your mother?
Yeah, but see, the thing is that oftentimes you go, I'll do that later. I'll get to that then.
Yeah.
I got time. And that's what I did. I shelved those dreams. They were just emaciated, sitting there looking at me, bugging me, tugging at me, saying, we still here.
Right.
And so it wasn't until that hit me, I started looking, because I reflected on the conversations that I had with my mother.
Yeah.
And I remember how she said she wanted to do this and she wanted to do that. That's what sparked me to start to have a checklist on doing some things I wanted to do.
Right. Right.
How many things you had on that checklist?
Well, at that year, that was number one, the marathon. And I had 10 on that list.
This was 2010?
2010.
And how many have you achieved thus far?
7 of those.
Right.
7
Which
of
ones
10.
did you achieve then?
7 of those. Well, I've been able to make a decent amount of money with my business.
Great.
A certain amount of money, see my son off to graduate from school. Family relationships have gotten better. Just things checking off, going along.
So that tells me and tells everyone that's listening that a vision, you had a vision.
Yes.
Your dream was really your vision of what you wanted. And I talk about those in my elements to aim to purpose. Your vision, hope, faith, knowledge, and action. And you had a vision. And with your mother and your back injury, you started thinking about it because you said, yeah, I'll put it off. I got time. And we know time waits on no one.
Yes.
And that's what we often think. Well, I have time. I can do this now, do it. I don't have to do it now. I can put it off. And we procrastinate. And everything is, I believe they come in divine order and they will happen at the right time. And oftentimes, I think we're in preparation for whatever it is that we have that vision to do. We're in preparation to do that, but we need to make sure we have not only the knowledge, but the wisdom too, because often we have knowledge, but we don't have the wisdom to help us, and sometimes we see it as a fear factor and we don't move ourselves forward. Was that some of the problem with you, that you did not move forward with that?
Probably was. I didn't see the thing was, I didn't really give it that much contemplation before that incident. And that's when I really start to really look at my life and examine the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's what, because death is over there when it happens to someone else, or that incident happened over there, but when it's in your camp, that's when it becomes real.
Well, Les Brown, who you know, he's pretty much the Toastmaster king of kings.
Yes.
He said if you don't do certain things in life or with your life, life will move on you.
Yes.
You know, life will definitely take action on your behalf to kind of wake you and shake you up a little bit.
Yes.
So with all the stuff that's going on in life and the things you're observing, you know, your mom passed and this happened or that happened, you develop a different focus on life.
Yes.
You know, because you're seeing all this stuff. I don't want that anymore. So now let me focus. Let me write down these 10 things that I need or that I want, and let me do what I need to do to implement them.
Yes.
You know, action steps.
And that's what happened. So I went to physical therapy, started getting better, was able to walk, but I knew I wouldn't running a marathon and all that stuff was out of the question. So
Right.
I had to look at alternatives, gain the weight, and I was at the doctor's office and I was reading a magazine that said, being grateful helps you be more happy.
Sure
Journaling.
does.
Yep.
Journaling.
Yep.
And I said, all right, well, let me try this.
Oh.
You know, so I picked up the pen, got a little composite journal, started journaling, didn't tell anybody. 7 things every morning, just what I was grateful for.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the first week, I felt happier. I was like, wow. Because there's scientific research that shows the benefits of gratitude.
Oh, absolutely.
So I got out of that fog, and that's what led me down the road of gratitude.
Yeah.
And,
Really
and
practice.
writing it down too. I know when I write things down, I'm more prone to get in touch with myself and what I want to do when I write it down, because I'm looking at it, and you can set your goals based on what you write down. Like you
Yes.
said, you didn't get to run the marathon because of what happened. So what's going on with the marathon now? You just kind of
I let the marathon dream go.
Yeah.
Because
because you had to.
because I was forced to. But the thing is that there's things so much bigger than that.
Yes.
Being able to inspire people in my story from moving from there, and the benefits that I've been able to acquire from gratitude have been much bigger than the marathon.
Or you can even inspire other people that do want to run a marathon and kind of inspire them to, hey, this is what you need to do, or what you maybe not need to do, so you won't injure yourself. And, you know, because everybody has their own road to travel, so you
Yes.
can always be that encouragement, because somebody can kind of, I guess, live out that, you know, that dream that you may not have been able to do, but you can encourage someone to move forward and do it themselves.
Yes.
Because
You know.
if you can't move in one way, you just move in
Move in
another
another.
way.
That's
That's
right.
all.
That's
right.
what it was. I said, I could ride a bike. I could do other things.
Oh, yeah.
But after I got involved in doing other things, that just kind of went to the wayside and started focusing on business and family
Right.
and other things and traveling.
Yeah.
Things that matter most to you.
Right.
You know, things that matter most to you, which is most important.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you bypass your purpose. It just means that you redirected your purpose with a different kind of focus because you had to let the marathon go. And as Kenan said, you can help other people because didn't you say what is kinesiology again?
The study of human movement.
Right,
Yes.
human movement. There you go. So
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
the expertise to help other people to understand what they need to do in order to get out there and run it. I wouldn't be able to run a marathon either because of some of my little health issues and so forth. But that's a good thing because you're able now to do something totally different and have a different focus, but you still aim to your purpose.
Yes, yes. And so that started me on the journey of gratitude. Just that, because without that, I wouldn't have had that focus. I wouldn't have probably never picked up the journal.
Right. And that journal kind of, that alone inspired you to write things down. When you write things down, you can always go back to it days or months or even years later.
Yes.
You know, I will say that I remember in junior high and high school, you know, even my mom used to tell me, write stuff down, write it down, write down your goals or your dreams. Or, you know, when you're young, you kind of want to take your own path and kind of, you learn things the hard way. Now that I'm older, I totally understand the power of writing things down because we forget things over time. Dreams that you may have had 5 years ago, you've forgotten about. Oh wow, I forgot that I wanted to do this. Let's get back to this now.
Yes.
You know, so writing things down is definitely a tool, a necessity, if you will, that will keep you focused and keep you on track, so you can kind of know what direction you want to take yourself.
Because that's what it did. It took my focus off of what I didn't have.
Right.
And I became more present.
Right.
I became more in the now about, and that's why the 360 is looking at the things around me.
Yep. Panoramic scope
of what I could be grateful for every single day.
Yep.
And that is so important. And writing it down, like Kenan said, I did that with all my kids. I used to make them go to the library, and I would take them, rather, to the library when they were younger. And I'd make them write summaries for me because it helps them to hone their skills. It also makes them think because
right.
the school system now, they don't make these kids think. And to get gratitude, you need to know about your thinking ability.
Yes.
So you can get something out there to be grateful for. If you
Exactly.
can't think, how are you going to do it? And the school system is just not designed, and I think it's by design, setting the kids up to dumb them down, the failure and so forth. And how can you? And I used to do this to them. They didn't like it much at the time, but that's okay because now look what's going on now.
Yes.
And that's what we as parents need to do. We have to guide our kids and make them think on their own. And believe me, I used to look at those reports too. I tell them, no, you read the book. I would have to read the book too if I might not have read it in detail, but they didn't know that.
Of course
The
not.
secret is out.
Of course not.
But the thing is, it made them think. And they didn't know I wasn't reading those books in details. I would just skim them just to make sure that they did something. I tell them, you better read it in detail too because I'm going to read it. Oh, I would have been reading a lot of books because I had 3 kids. But I wanted my kids to read because knowledge is powerful provided you put it into action.
Yeah.
And that is so good because you talk about your business, and I wanted them to learn the pathway to success. What is your business? I know you're writing this book. We're going to talk about that too. But what is your business?
I'm a general contractor, so we specialize in remodels, residential and light commercial.
Wow, you hear that?
Wow.
Anybody here in California? Do you go out of the state of California or you just stay within California?
Presently, no. Cooper Construction and Painting, but no, we don't. Not presently.
So if you're looking for a painter or a general contractor to do work, Cooper we'll at the end of the show we're going to give you a chance to summarize pretty much for us,
you can give all that
you can
information.
give all that information out. And I know you're writing a book. So what inspired you to write this book? Give us the title of it and what inspired you to write this book.
Gratitude 360, 5-minute secret to a happier you. And the story that I just shared with you is what inspired me. And I saw the changes and the benefits of that happened within my life so quickly after just writing down and really getting in touch with myself. One benefit the studies show is you become more healthy, that you become more health conscious. And at the time, I didn't know, 2011, I didn't know any of these studies. I just knew the experiences in which I was receiving.
Right.
I lost 25 pounds just like that.
Yep.
Because I started focusing on my diet. I started walking, started doing other things. And recently I shared my story with a few friends and what I was doing, because over the years, since 2011, it just benefited me.
Right.
And after sharing this story, I said, wow, you really ought to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I shared it with them. They started doing it, 3 friends. And then I started talking to other people about their stories. And I'm like, this is pretty big.
You're kind of onto something, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they start experiencing similar things in their lives.
Yeah, and that's what gratitude can do to you, because it changes your entire, it changes your entire vibration and raises your vibration of how you feel about yourself, which means it makes you happier, and for example, Dr. Norman Cousins, and I mentioned this before when we had another guest on our show a few months back. He healed himself of cancer through laughter because he started getting happy with himself, and it changed his entire physiology, because laughter is medicine. It's self-medication.
Yes, it is.
And he healed himself. So what you've done is the same thing according to what your challenges were at that particular time, So and you shared it with others, and they joined you in that process.
Yeah, they joined me in the process, and they said, wow, this really does work.
Yeah.
And I remember my son, he's 19 now. I know I don't look it.
No, you don't. You're right. You don't look it.
Show fool
As
me.
Mother Love said, we were on the Mother Love show on, November the 20th, a few weeks ago. And Mother Love said, black doesn't crack. Because I'm 63 and I'm still moving. And I just,
You inspired me when I first met you. I was like, I need some of that energy right there.
Yeah.
You share your story.
Must be that melanin.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go.
But go ahead.
There you go.
And at the time, he was 16, and he says, he was walking out the door to go to school. I remember this vividly. And he turned his back to me and says, Dad, I was sitting at the computer. And he said, Dad, he said, you okay? I said, yeah, what's up? He goes, nothing, it's cool. You just, you get on me, but you don't get on me.
Yeah.
And then I said, all right. And he left. So because in that moment, I realized I started focusing on the good things my teenager did.
Good.
I no longer focused on what he wasn't doing.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's right.
my hero Les Brown, he said, quoting Gerder says, look at a man as he is and he'll become worse.
Mm-hmm.
Look at a man as what he could be, he'll become what he should be. And so
Say that again.
Mm-hmm.
Look at a man and he'll become worse the way he is. Look at a man as what he could be, he'll become what he should be.
That's right.
I like that. That's why I asked you to repeat that.
That's right.
So that's what Gerder says, and that's what the focus is. I focused on the good things that my teenager was doing. And the funny thing about it was I didn't consciously really know that I was doing it. I just felt it.
Mm-hmm.
In your subconscious, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's a defining moment as a parent, that you saw your son and you focused and you honed in on the good things that he's doing.
Right.
And not just focus on the negative. And that's what we need, because we often focus on the negative as opposed to the positive. And whatever you think, who was that wrote the book, As a Man Thinketh?
James Allen.
James Allen. And I read that book. I love to read. As a Man Thinketh. what
So
you
it's-
think. And so you were passing some good vibrations on to your son.
Yeah, literally, you become. The law of attraction really does work. When whatever you
Yes.
focus on is what's. So what happened was little things started to come. One benefit that I received was, and later on after doing research, I found this out to be true, is that you not only want to look at the things that are good for you, you want to reach out and help someone else.
Right.
Your gifting becomes lifted.
And your
Yeah.
gifting becomes lifting. I love that one too. You
Yeah.
just had you're full of all these beautiful quotes, and I love it because some people think that we are not our brothers and sisters keepers, and I think just the opposite. We are our brothers and sisters
Yes.
keepers. We should uplift. Why would you want to be a hater when you can uplift someone? Because when you elevate someone else, you truly are elevating yourself.
And it's
Yes.
not even a should. It's something that we're all designed to do as human beings, to lift, because we're all connected in one way, shape, form, or fashion. So when you help or lift someone else, you're actually lifting yourself
You are.
to a higher level, which inspires other people to lift other people.
Yeah.
And it becomes a domino effect.
Yeah.
And since this is a global broadcast, this is what this show is meant to do. It's to bring people together on a global level to raise the standard of self-awareness.
Yes.
So you can have these type of fruitions happen little by little. Earl Nightingale said, "You become what you think about most of the time." So when you think of certain things over and over and over again, whether it's be about following what your son does and looking at the good things that he does as opposed to some of the errors which we all make, let's not focus on those. Let's teach them, hey, this is an error. You made that mistake. Let's look at it as an experience that you can learn from, and let's move forward and make something or create something better.
Yeah.
And your son, he was 16 and now he's 19.
Yeah,
so
he's 19.
I bet you he's feeling the gratitude now.
Yeah.
How does he feel at 19?
I knew something was at 16. I knew something was going because teenagers are focused on themselves.
Yes. Right.
So for him to stop, go out the door, and it's just like he said, I knew something was going on, but I didn't recognize it. My friends started to recognize it. Mm-hmm. At 19, I was just sharing with Keenan earlier is that he's in boot camp now at the Marines, and
Awesome.
so I'm really proud of him out there doing his thing.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
he tells me that I'm the man today because of what you did to me, the way you raised me. I was a single father, so I raised him. Yeah.
Doesn't that make you feel good, though, when your children come back? And sometimes they don't understand what we're doing when we're guiding them when they're young. But when they come back, because my kids, like Ken, I say his age sometimes. He's 40 now. And my kids
There you
come
go
back.
again.
Yeah, I tell everybody's age. I'll be telling yours after a while, Ivory. But they are grateful as they grow older, more mature, and they acquire that wisdom. I was listening to Napoleon Hill, and I love to read too, and he was talking about wisdom, and he says that most people really don't acquire wisdom until after 40. And that's, for me, that was true because my son becoming ill, not Kenan, but my other son that's 33 now, I had cancer at 14. And I was like in my 40s when he was diagnosed. And I started to really put life in perspective then. And that's when I really started getting wisdom. What do you think about that, Mr. Gratitude?
I agree. Ironically, I was 44 when that happened.
Wow, see?
I was 44 when that happened, and I would agree that after past 40, your lenses, your life lenses, start to change.
Yeah,
focus.
your scope
And
is clear.
that's interesting that you said your life lenses because your eyes start to change. That's when your eyes, when you get in those 40s, mine happened at 45, but some people it happened in their early 40s, earlier. You start to see it a little different too.
Yeah.
And you need glasses to read with.
That's
Things start to getting blurry.
That's the second half of my story that got me to Toastmasters. Because in 2011, like I said, I started journaling. And in November that same year, I was diagnosed with glaucoma. And I said, man.
Wow.
So I said, same thing. I said, wow. I said, really?
Right.
I said, I just, my bag now this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they say that God gives you things because he has confidence. I don't need this much confidence. So
So that's too much confidence.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's too much confidence. And once again, I was already in the state of being grateful and looking at the small things that I had in life. And when the doctor diagnosed that I had glaucoma, he said, you have, after what they call a visual field exam, you have 10% in your left eye and you have 80% in your right. Another loss, because I went through those 5 stages again,
Right.
but quickly this time, because another byproduct of gratitude is resilience,
Yeah.
because you can
Yes.
put things in perspective quickly. And I said, wow. And the anger portion of it was, why didn't any of these doctors previous tell me this? Nobody in my family has it, so I was like, okay.
Now,
Listen,
pretty much, what is glaucoma? What does that do to your eyes?
was prevalent in the African American and Latino community.
Uh-huh.
Hundreds of thousands of African Americans go blind each year.
Oh, it's
Glaucoma-
a blinding.
Yeah, you go blind. So what happens is, and glaucoma is, there's 4 different types, but it's basically the pressure in the eye causes
I
your
see.
your nerve to become damaged and you lose your vision. That's why it's only 10% left in my left eye and 80% in my right.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So with that, I was listening to Les Brown on his when he was on radio, and he was quoting Dr. Howard Thurman. He said, "What dreams, what goals, what things do you have left undone if you make your transition?"
Right.
And I said, "Wow, I really want to do this speaking." I
Yeah.
said, "I got hit with. I can't do the marathon,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I can speak."
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I challenged myself to start speaking.
And
Yeah.
and you were in that 91. So where did you come out in this speaking? I'm curious about that. Where did you come out?
I didn't come out of my first round. They put you in 9 different rounds. So you compete against 9 contestants in 9 different rounds for the semifinals. And then for the finals, it's 9 again, 9. And I didn't come out. I didn't place coming out of my semifinals.
You know what?
But
That
just to
is okay,
get
just to
there,
get there.
in the 90 out of 30, how many
Yeah,
did you say?
30,000.
30,000, and
Yeah.
you're 90, the top 91.
That's right. You're already a winner.
I
from
mean,
that.
you are a winner.
It was
know.
it was
30,000 from all over the world. Here
Yeah.
you are. So you
And
you
that
are a
deserves
speaker.
a round of applause.
Yes, it does. A big round of applause. I mean, 30,000 people. Well, you know the power of gratitude, because you can't help but define gratitude again.
it is the expression of emotions for what you appreciate that are past, present,
How can
and
you
future.
Present,
And future.
And how
All of
can you not have the power of gratitude with what you've gone through since 2010? Just since 2010,
Yes.
all these things have happened. Appreciate, how can you not? And with that being said, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and let you talk a little bit more. We have about 5 or 6 minutes left, and we'll talk a little bit more, and then we're going to sum it up on how people can get in touch
Great.
with you.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
This edition of Aim to Purpose, the radio show, is brought to you by L. Hicks Consulting Services. When you want the best in business coaching, life coaching, or perhaps your organization, business, or company is in need of a dynamic speaker for an upcoming workshop or seminar, contact Louise Hicks for L. Hicks Consulting Services at 1-562-310-1495. From anywhere around the world, that's 1-562-310-1495. For more information about Louise Hicks and her consulting services, visit her website at www.louisehicks.biz. Again, that's www.louisehicks.biz. Or call 1-562-310-1495. L. Hicks Consulting Services, where professionalism is top priority.
We're back, and we're having a great time here today talking with our special guest, Ivory L. Cooper Sr. And we're talking about the power of gratitude. And Ivory has done a tremendous job of giving us the definition of gratitude and how he came about being appreciative and knowing the power of gratitude. And that's an awesome thing and doing scientific research and the scientific research, what did you find out about that in terms of gratitude?
Oh, a lot. You have less stress. You have improved relationships, as I did with my son. You have greater abilities to sleep at night. You're not as restless. You just have a different appreciation for life. So there's just a plethora of things that science has discovered with the simple act of gratitude and looking for things to be grateful for every day.
Sounds like it just brings you happiness.
It does.
Happiness, joy, peace. And we all need all that. Happiness, joy, peace, prosperity as well, because you said your business even picked up. So look what gratitude can do for you. That is powerful. And speaking of what gratitude can do for you, I wanted to share this book with you. I read this book this weekend. I want to make sure I get it in the camera. Let me get it. Back up, focus. There we go. It's called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. This is a powerful book because what it does, this will help you to find gratitude. And we all say, oh, there we go. Great, Outwitting the Devil. And it's by Napoleon Hill. And if you're an avid reader, I love to read. Napoleon Hill is an awesome author. He wrote this book in 1938. And it was only published in 2011. And the reason being, in 1938, he felt, and his wife, that the public would not be receptive to it because of everything that was going on, and he might have gotten backlash, and he probably would have, because the book Outwitting the Devil is awesome. It really brings you to a level of being who you are and finding, as you mentioned earlier, Ivy, you went inside of yourself and you realized who you were, and your gratitude helped to bring the best out of you. And that's what Napoleon Hill does in this book. He talks about, even in 1938, the failed school system, the misguided religious organizations, how organized religion is putting so much fear in people until people get paralyzed. They're afraid to move forward with their life. The environmental conditioning of our children, we're not letting them be thinkers of themselves. And the media propaganda, we know we hear so much media propaganda, sometimes we just want to turn the television off. He talks about another thing you talked about, health. Poor diet, how we are not honing into our own health matters and how we need to take care of ourselves, and as well as your authentic self, knowing who you are. And I know you talked about that, knowing how gratitude helps you to know who you are.
Yes,
right.
Yes, it really does.
Well, in the couple of minutes that we have, tell us how people can either reach you or how they can become involved with Toastmasters, or if you have a website or any information that you want to give, and some final words for the listening and viewing audience.
Well, Toastmasters, you can go to toastmasters.org, and if you're interested in improving your speaking ability skills and your leadership skills, that is a great organization. And they have places, clubs all over the world, probably one close to your neighborhood at different times.
Oh, yeah.
As far as myself, you can go on Facebook, Ivory L. Cooper Sr., and I created a page, a Gratitude 360 page.
Okay.
Go on that page and like it and make a comment. And when the book comes out, I'll definitely give you information on how to get the book and everything from there.
So that's facebook.com/gratitude360?
Yes, but I linked it with my personal page.
Oh, it's linked with you. Okay.
Right, so
okay.
Once they go on my page, they'll be able to scroll down and see it.
Okay. So that would be facebook.com/Ivory L. Cooper Senior.
Senior, yes.
Make sure you put the senior. Yes.
Got to make that distinction.
And just leave us with, and we know you're working on your website, and we will have you back once the book is out and published. We're going to have you back. So, and you're working on your website. We'll have all that when he comes back. But just leave us with a final thought about gratitude and why we should be appreciative.
Because gratitude is a simple thing that you could do every single day. It really enhances your life. We have so much more to be grateful for than we realize once we really start opening our eyes and really focusing on it. And all of the things that we talked about earlier with decreased stress, more happiness, better relationships, this is what everybody wants. So when you incorporate gratitude into your life, inevitably you're going to have a greater life.
And there you have it.
There you have it.
And there you have it. Well, with that being said, we want to thank you, Ivory L. Cooper, for being our special guest here on Aim to Purpose, the radio show.
Thank you.
It's always good to have someone give their perception of what gratitude is. I mean, there's 7 billion people on earth, and they may give you 7 billion different definitions of gratitude, but all the same, it all comes down to one thing: being grateful.
Being grateful.
And we all should be grateful. And with that being said, as usual, have a great week, a great weekend. We will see you next week. And as I always leave you with, your power lies within you. Let it loose.
And we will see you next time.